Hey everybody, Zero Cool Gamer here, back again with another video. The Crip and the Brit is here. He got a haircut, so we moved his picture up a little bit so you can't see the top of his head anymore. We don't know if all of his hair went, but his veins look a little bit thicker. I don't know. Were you working out a lot this past week, or what happened?
Yeah, working out a lot, getting ready for Easter
Oh yeah,
to
that
enjoy
holiday. Oh yeah,
enjoy the weekend with all the treats.
that. Yeah. Well, Easter's here too, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, we're here. We're doing stuff. But we do get to celebrate Easter by playing Cosmic Crucible. Isn't that great? It's
Oh my
amazing.
God, yeah, I can't know. Over the weekend when it's the time when family and friends and enjoy the weekend and we got to do Puzzle Crucible.
You got you gotta love when
We
they
don't
do
have as
that,
much
right?
time.
Gotta love when
Yeah.
they do that. That is just amazing that they're so amazing that they put that together for us. But all right, well, we could talk about some defense with it. The first week, last week I went 1-2, which was okay, I guess, because I tried some crazy stuff out in the first two times. The second time, well, the last round, I got a nice, decent victory with a 50, like 177 over. He dropped a room, and he had some problems. But how did your last week go?
Uh, well, say it's the first week's always that experimental week. You've got no idea what you're gonna find, what's on defense, so it's kind of test things out. And I went 2-1, and I decided to go full offense because I wanted to have more control and maybe see what I am gonna find. And it worked well for the first two, and then I faced your alliance buddy, MSF's good old friend, Juicy, for the last round, and he had quite a defense-based team.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I lost to him. So
Oh,
next time, it's right. I gave him the win really. I didn't want to embarrass him too much on your stream. So, but next time I'll get him.
that's good.
No, that's the thing. It's one of those things that at the end of the day, when it comes to what you set, it's a little bit of luck in terms of who goes what way. And he had a very strong defense. I had a very light defense, and if I messed up, then I was pretty much screwed. So, and like gonna see in this video with one of the defenses, that's what he had, and it's a bit of a problem. So, yeah,
All
it's
right, let's get to it. Room one, obviously, is the bleeder room. It's not really that big of a room. It's just a room with people in it. But I only like this defense because it stops Superior 6 from coming in and wiping the hell out of them, because Superior 6 with Ultra Mysterio can just knock this right out, which is supremely nuts because they do get a bunch of buffs right off the bat, but then they get whacked. And Sus is in there to stop that, so that way you can't use them. However, you could use Immortals or Starjammers, but that feels like overkill, or you might need them somewhere else. So this kind of forces you to rethink it. Like, oh, I just see, Liberty in it. Oh, wait, Sus is in there. Let me rethink that. I can't use Superior 6 because they get like 10 billion buffs, and Sus will just go in there and nuke them. So let me bring another team and basically psych your opponent out. Um, how do you feel about that one?
yeah, because there are quite a few counters for Liberty if it's the full piece, and the fact that Sus being there does prevent the uh, the, the counters that are not expensive to use, because even new warriors can actually beat them if your new warriors are a certain size, and like, of course, they're not like maxed out Liberty. I've done it a couple of times. This was last season. I used the new warriors. So the fact that now, if you're eliminating a few teams that could beat them, and now you, like you said, maybe have to use Immortals or Starjammers against them, then quite honestly, that's a win in my book. So I would say, yeah, it's a strong defense.
All right, room 2. Turtle Shell is a bad name. Kahhori slaps shit at you. Kahhori destroys you. Kahhori room. I think that's what they should just rename it. I'm gonna put that.
Cool.
I'm gonna put that. You know what? I'm gonna put that in as a suggestion in the envoy chat to see if they read it and be like, can we rename room Kahhori?
Kahhori and Friends. That's what it should be called. Or Kahhori's Island, or Kahhori and our crew.
There you go. Kahhori's Revenge. There you go. Yeah, Kahhori-Land. Kahhori.
Like, it's just, yeah, like when we was doing it on your stream and we took a couple of teams into this room without knowing the bug. My God, we were literally like, am I going to take a turn? Am I going to take a turn? Like, and she's taken like 6 turns now already. Like, why am I? What is going on here? And because I did it with my team, and I brought in Mephisto, Annihilators, and I think either 4-piece or someone else with her, whoever it was. And my Mephisto didn't take a turn before nearly dying. Luckily, he didn't, and I managed to get his empowerment off, and I won. But my God, it was a close call. So
it was very brutal. I was able to. I had Kahhori on offense, so I was able to go ahead and just. We were counting how many times Kahhori was taking a turn, and she just kept going, and we're just like that. That other team's not doing. Oh wait, flawless victory. Guess they're not doing anything. Just basically take Kahhori in there without any counters to it. The only one that we could really think of that would be somewhat useful is Starjammers, because you need Starjammers to beat them. So, and that could go wrong, especially if they just tunnel Howard right away. Your Howard, you're screwed. Now you're basically, because that's basically the play. Mirror, go after Howard, take him out, you're good to go. Now start picking him off. But if they take out your Howard, well, however, if you don't got Starjammers in there or something to stop Kahhori, which really this is the only way to do it, Kahhori's just going to go in there and slap the hell out of you. You can use Black Knight, but she might do just too much damage to whatever team you're bringing in before she actually gets wiped. So, Kahhori's Shell, Kahhori's Island, whatever you want to call it. This room has just been a really, really disaster. Especially if you see Kahhori on defense, you're just like, why? So you could, then it would be kind of considered a win if you brought Starjammers into here if you saw Kahhori, but it is still a bit of a bug happening, and it's just becoming a big issue. So I'm only recommending Starjammers for the moment, just until they fix the room, so that way we know Kahhori ain't doing nothing.
Yep.
You could bring Immortal, but why would you? And Cabal on defense just doesn't really stand up too much unless you do something really, really outrageous and specific. But then again, are you going to? No. So,
or unless we had the fun room rules from U32 where you could use Cabal. But no, they had to get rid of the 2 fun rooms, and then they put this piece of shit room in let's have a bug Kahhori, one of the top characters in the game, should I add as well, to do many turns. So
we've had some discussions of some very long comments to that, and I don't know if they're going to change it or not. But at the moment, one, those 2 rooms are off the plate. I don't know if there's something bugged with them, but if there is, fix it and just put them right back in, because those rooms were amazing. Room 3, Toxic. Obviously, on that turn, attack self for 15% of that character's max health, and then you reduce it a little bit, so not too bad. The 3-piece Annihilators here with Omega Sentinel and Emma. I didn't think this would do anything. I thought it would just be a room they ran over. It would just, be done with it. But I think getting stuck on Patriot and Omega Sentinel just countering every time took its toll to where there were so many turns that it needed to beat this. It was like, oh my god, pray that they won, because it looked like they just had some lucky RNG and they finally got through it. But the turn bonus was 3. Wow. Okay, so you got 3. That's nuts. That gives me at least 15 to 20 points of, hey, I could win this in case something messes up. So I think this team either is going to draw something mentally huge to knock it out, or they're going to misjudge it and they might lose. And having Emma in there just goes ahead and says, hey, let Gore go first and wreck your team for a second. How do you feel?
When we were talking about this team, I really do like this team because, quite honestly, it's a very cheap team. Yes, I know the Annihilators are decent, especially like Gladiator, the pre-taunt, but let's face it, most Annihilator teams now are quite easily countered by a fair few teams. So their effectively isn't quite there anymore. So now you've got 5 characters that are, like I said, pretty old classes, cheap characters, but because of how tanky they are and using the room rule to their advantage, I can imagine it being a real nuisance to get around, because if you're not bringing one of the top teams to take out, which you normally use against Annihilators, then the other teams aren't going to really do so well, because you're going to have to use either Ares or APOC to remove the safeguard, and then do all your like maybe Tangle Web, whatever. But even still, they might not have the damage to do it. So by the time you actually start to get near beating this team, their team could be dead or very nearly dead. So efficiency wise, it's going downhill. So yeah, I like it.
I'm hoping this does some damage, praying that it does. However, room 4 is a fun, it's just fun to look at, really, only because of you're spreading all the positive effects, and then it's costing 2 less to do the ult. So I'm throwing in some orchids and our buddy Dorm in there, only because Scientist Supreme spreading effects to Lady Deathstrike, then Nimrod, and Nimrod's got more effects that you got to get rid of. Then you got Lady Deathstrike going. Hopefully Nimrod can finally take a turn, especially with the speed that he gets from the bots. And if Nimrod takes a turn, he's just scary. So once he takes that turn, especially if there's people out there that actually put him to G20 for for Professor X, and you're overpowered, he hits even harder. So eventually I'll do that, but right now I can't. But if he does hit, he's going to slap pretty hard. And then, hey, if you don't bring in somebody to go ahead and take out the revive, oh crap, guess what? He's coming back again after you kill him. So, oops, what do I do? I mean, you could take in, obviously we know the main team that can beat this. It's just it's a little bit difficult again, yet when you got Dorm in there and they come back.
Yeah, I think it's just a very top standard team that we've seen August on defense a lot. Easily countered by Night Stalkers, but at the end of the day, that's just one team really. Like other teams can suffer against them. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth a try. See how it goes.
The dreaded room 5, the mutant room, which they should just put the mutant room. They don't need to change the name. Just put mutant room and just call it a day.
Mutant room, that's it.
Yeah, because they just keep putting mutants in there, and they'll just change whatever. They just change the text in it. That's it. So, but I mean, this one I have seen be a little bit of an issue if you bring in, let's say not a regular team, but ones that have the older stats on there to try to beat, extreme, or even just, rogue or forge. But I put Thanos in there just to be a douche, because if you try to go after forge to block him and you keep going after him to kill him, you might trigger Thanos. So go ahead, try to do that. You trigger Thanos, bye-bye, fool, you're dead. So I'm hoping this helps out, but usually this room can get run over. But like I said, that room rule there of getting 10% each time is healing per per negative effect does help them out a little bit. And I have seen them go from like below 25% to oh crap, they just healed all the way the hell back up. Oh crap, I misjudged that. I needed to kill that fool. So basically, get them out, or if they take a turn, they could come back at damn near decent health if you put a bunch of effects on them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Thanos. It certainly can work because I think it's kind of a case of season. Let's put Thanos somewhere and make him be Plan B for whatever team decides to go up against him. And he hasn't been used here yet with these bunch, so it definitely could do something. And generally, uh, uh, Superior Six is the team that is used against this team. So I think it's going to prevent that now. So yeah,
Yeah,
I reckon it'll be a good job.
Yeah, I think with Superior Six, if they're just a lot of Superior Six opening barrage is attack everybody. So you're attacking Thanos. Granted, he does have a buttload of health, but if they get him down to that 50%, he hits them. I feel bad for Superior Six because they're on the old health stat, and Thanos just does wicked damage. So
Yep.
I could see this where it goes wrong, and yeah, Thanos basically should just be Plan B. And that sounds wrong, but he pretty much is now a Plan B. Throw him somewhere, and if you play it wrong, well, there it goes. Thanos will wipe him out if Old Man Logan doesn't. Thanos will do it, and then if Old Man Logan gets a turn after Thanos wipes off, I just back out. Back out.
And especially people have been G20 their Thanos as well, so he's
No.
even more of a he's more Plan AB.
He's scary. He's so scary.
Because that hits. It hits hard.
All right, room 6. It is bugged a little bit because of stuff, but here it is. You got the interesting team of Odin, Null, Nightcrawler, Emma, and Squatch, and I've faced off against this. This was quite brutal trying to go against it, even with Illuminati. You gotta it's just you can't take Mephisto in here to help out. Emma is just a douchebag trying to take some others in there, and you got Squatch over there just saying, "Hi, I'm gonna keep the taunt up, so come at me." And then Nightcrawler's there just to mess you up because for some other reason he just ignores the room rules. So
Yep.
there it goes. He just says nope, bye, and he just starts snapping off. So there are a few ways to counter this, but even then it takes a lot to take it out. So it's like, ooh, I'm saying, hey, just use it anyway and see if people could go ahead and come against it. At least you got enough other rooms to go ahead and keep them busy too. Might as well throw 6 in there to throw a wrench in their day. So how are you looking at room 6?
Yeah, so this is the team I was talking about at the start of the video. And then there's two compounds, or there's two companies who replace Sasquatch with DK or replace Nightcrawler with Mephisto. And I believe there's something out there that does work fairly well, but not much can beat this team. So it's generally either you need certain pieces to beat it for one, and generally a lot of people are using them on defense at the moment, or it's a case of you're most likely going to lose, and then you can either clean up. And depending who you take out, it could be a case of you have to use a Starjammers as a clean up, or you might not clear the room. So it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, this room seems to be a problem all around. But if you got one of the comps to beat it, you can do it. It's still RNG because the room is still kind of borked. So it's like, well, do I want to throw everything at it?
To be able to read a room rule and be like, this is how the room's playing out, instead of being like, oh, I'm going to set a defense for this room because it's going to play out this way, and it doesn't work. So, yeah, Scopely, make sure you actually test your rooms if you're making one, if you're making up these room rules, and two, if you're removing the decent rooms and now putting in these new ones, at least make sure that they work properly. So yeah, it's frustrating that only half the I believe only half the room was working, and then even when you sack it and go in again, another part of the room doesn't work. So there's layers and layers of how to rate this room basically.
Yeah, I don't know if they tested or not, but if they do, they obviously didn't test out 2 or 6, and they didn't test it long enough. But there's quite a few players that tested out all damn day and night, and poof, we found these records, and now we know what messes up at the room. Now you got to use a lot to defeat it. So I would say, hey, if you want to push it through, and hopefully they don't have what it takes to beat this room, you got to win. If not, well, better set up the other room so that way you got to psych them out. So you go, okay, do I use them here? Do I use them there? Do I use them here? Do I use them there? So I would always go out. I would always say, always think of other rooms pertaining to the room that you're doing. So that way you can kind of you're looking for a drop. You want them to drop or just question themselves. And the moment they question themselves, they just go, oh crap, I lost. And if all else fails, you just blame Doom.
I mean, that is the best advice ever. Just blame Doom.
Just blame Doom. All
Absolutely.
right. Well, season 14 is shaping up to be Kahhori filled in room 2, and room 6 is just there just to mess with your head because it's still broke. But I'm looking at least get at least 2 wins. If I can get 2 wins, I'll be happy. I am in Masters 2, so I'm trying to stay there. I'm trying not to go anywhere with it. How is your outlook for the next week?
I am, I think, just off Masters 1? I think it's 2050 trophies for that. So I'm just off there, and yeah, if I can get to 2 again, I'll be happy with that. That's always my goal anyway. Like if I can get 2 wins, then the third one, win or loss, is not too much of a big deal. So yeah, and I've got a couple different rooms that I'm trying and testing. So week 2 of trial and error. So let's give it a go.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll. This should be a fun week. Make sure to do the normal things: like, share, subscribe. If you want to blame us for stuff, go ahead. There's really no Kraken here doing anything. Well, it might be a guppy, but I don't know. But we try to give an outlook of, hey, what you could do based on what you got, and still the kits are the same. Overpower might play a role in there, but if you're going up against similar stuff, overpower doesn't really do much. But obviously, if you go first and you annihilate them, overpower don't mean nothing anyway, so wouldn't matter.
Does it change the health and everything else? It just changes the damage, and if your team's faster then you win the same way you did before. So.
But like I said, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment so we know what we're doing right or wrong, and we will definitely be back next week with either we're both going to be crying or one of us will just be like, God damn it, I faced Juicy again. So,
I've got the other content creator this week. I've got Dacia.
Oh, Dacia, nice.
Dacia.
Nice. Yeah. Dacia. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I am praying for the Brit. There you go. I'm betting on the Brit right now to win.
I'm 1-0 against him, so I've got the slight advantage over him at the moment.
Oh, well, that works for everybody then. That works for everybody. We'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
All right, man. Yep. I want to thank the Brit for coming back from the future over here and talking to people in the past about what you should do next week, or tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, be prepared for it, because this CC is going to be a very I don't know. I really don't want to do it over Easter, but I ain't got no choice now, do I? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we have to do it.
Thanks, Coplay. But DKG and the Brit rolling out.
Latest.